Welcome to the TSD Mindfulness video for teaching number 11. So the third item on the list of the desires of the temperamental body is the heart field desires consideration. I'll say that again, the heart field desires consideration. And I don't mean consideration as in let's put some thought into this, but more devoted and steady observation. So this consideration that the heart field desires is devoted and steady observation. That's it. Just some good old-fashioned attention. And it's not necessarily an attempt to go in there and heal. It's more the observing the pain, observing the joy. In the observation is the healing. That is the healing, is that sitting there with it, observing, paying attention with kindness, with love, with self-support. That is the healing. The heart field is our rock. It is the reality of who we are. It does not ask for much. Yet at the same time, we don't have great influence over what is in the heart. The heart field only desires us to move our consciousness into it and consider what is there. So there's a lot of surrender associated with this moving your consciousness into your heart field. There's not a lot of doing. It's just being, observing, paying attention, and allowing. That's the energy that we bring to the experience when we move our attention into our hearts. The heart field desires consideration because your attention in the heart instigates the healing process and the joyful experience. Two things that your soul really wants for you to just move into this healing process, move into joyful experience. And the way that we do that through our TSD mindfulness practice is moving our attention into our heart and just paying attention to what is there and holding that attention in a very kind, supporting way. The healing process and joyful experience leads us to a true sense of connection, fulfillment, more energy. We often tend to feel more energized when we move our attention into our heart. We cannot fully see what is in our heart field until we move our consciousness into our hearts. So for example, we can't see heart fatigue unless we dwell in the heart. And so what heart fatigue is when we overuse our mental field. We're just approaching so many things in our life with our analytical mind and problem solving, doing a lot of problem solving and planning. And we're also being really affected by our gut triggers. When our nervous system gets engaged, we might be there for extended periods of time. Our nervous system might be having quite an effect on our experience. So when the mental field and or the gut field take over, we kind of start to experience this heart fatigue. And the best way to think about this heart fatigue feeling is it's kind of a burnout feeling. You're just like, I just don't have anything left. I'm so tired. And just on a real core level. So that would be heart fatigue. There are some types of burnout that are simply just about overthinking and using the mental field too much. But this deep sense of burnout, we call heart fatigue in the TSD mindfulness teaching. And the reason that the heart field feels so drained when we overuse our mental field and our gut field is because we're not relying on divine flow. And instead, we're really using our mental and gut field. So we do need to have these times in our day and in our life where we are really opening up to divine flow and letting the energy come through to nourish us. And so if we don't, this takes a toll on our temperamental bodies, especially our hearts. We need to rely more on divine flow so we don't become fatigued energetically, physically, emotionally, and intellectually. And the remedy for this exhaustion is surrender in our hearts. which is not possible without that devout and steady attention within our heart field. And we cannot begin to become attentive in our hearts until we move our consciousness into our heart field. And this movement requires us to first tame our mind and soothe our gut fields. And we'll be practicing a little bit of that in the meditation number 3. A sense of worthiness is needed, is important to pulling this off, because dedicating a portion of your day to simply move your attention into your heart and observe is kind of luxurious, right? We're like, I don't have time for that. But you really need to. It's not luxurious. It is something that should be just as routine as brushing your teeth. I mean, it is a necessity to take this time out of your day to move your attention into your heart and just observe what's there. And we'll talk more about what that entails in later teachings. But it starts with being aware of the physical sensations in your heart area. And also surrendering to not surrendering to the outcome of how your meditation to begin with, but eventually surrendering to outcomes of other areas of your life also. Yeah, so future teachings, I'll go over, the surrendering in the heart, instigating this healing process and this joyful experience. So this is the conclusion to TSD Mindfulness teaching number 11.